Hi, David here with suicidefishing.com. Hey, haven't been doing any videos lately for good reason. My weekends are tied up. We got, it's a slowdown in Christmas. We got some new clients for the work, which means that in order to get them onboarded, we got to spend a little bit more time than normal to bring the clients on and make sure they're happy. And that is a priority, because obviously if there's no work, there's no play. And what you see right here, this is play. And so with that being said, we've managed 3 shakedown cruises, gone out and just to find out what we need to do, unforeseen challenges, and so I'm going to go over those unforeseen challenges right now. So first and foremost, the engine wasn't broken in, so the speed on it was it's a 40 horsepower engine, and this is a Yamaha licensed product that is made for third world markets like the Philippines. So it is lower in cost, and every single Yamaha part that you can buy, what they call branded, an actual Yamaha OEM, will fit on this, and vice versa. It's just a lot of companies are smart about marketing these under a different name, licensed in countries where they'll sell it for less money. So this is the same thing as a Yamaha 2-stroke. So we took it out. We were only, and this is a flat bottom boat. The draft on it is about 4 to 6 inches. It was supposed to be 4, but we added more weight. It's about 6+ inches, slightly over 6. So it's a little bit more water draft. It's pushing a little bit more water, and I just wasn't happy with it. We were getting, and from the get-go, we were only getting, JR, what were we doing? I think we were at 10 miles an hour, yeah. 11 miles an hour, and it just felt like the engine was just bogged down, and I'm sitting there wishing that I'd got a bigger engine from the get-go. And and this is after everyone questioned me about this boat and how small the engine was, and of course my pride and my ego said no, 40 horsepower, and the reason why is because that's double what I see online. So it's Spirit International, Albion, Dory. It's a 19 foot. We added approximately 400 more pounds to it, 450 more pounds of fiberglass and additional wood framing, and so because normally this thing is, and then we raised the sides a little bit, we made the gunwales wider, so there's more weight to it than the original. The original is about 850 pounds. And online, you take a look at these boats, and there's a lot of people running these flat bottom boats using a 20 horsepower. So I figured I'm adding less than 20%, or less than, I'm sorry, not 20%, less than 40% weight. And so a 40 horsepower should have been what this boat would use. So with that being said, we got it out there, and I'm sitting here, and there's some video of it, and you're gonna see me. I'm sort of stoic. My face is, it's poker face, and up in my mind I'm just going, oh, I blew it, I blew it, I blew it. I need a bigger engine, and I got to eat all my words of everyone I said, this engine will work on this boat. And so we're running into Christmas, and it's slowing down work-wise. I already made an investment on this, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna have to get a bigger boat. And what I'll do, I don't want to sell this engine, I'll just make another one of these. In the original according to the plans, the original plans. I won't do all the bells and whistles. I'll put this on it, and this will be very fast on a lighter boat. And so, anyways, but you know what? And some of my friends here in the Philippines are saying, "What's wrong? You got a speedboat." They consider this a speedboat, right? You've got a boat, and you've got an engine. And JR, there's something dead. Can you smell that?
Yeah.
Something dead here. Woo. Maybe it's coming. The breeze is coming this way. It's probably over there somewhere. Yeah. Anyways, there's something. I just got a good whiff of something dead here. And so, anyways, so what we did was, so we, and you know what? You're right. I can get it up to trolling speed, and I can go after the tuna and the marlin and the wahoo, and so you know what? I'm lucky to have what I got, and that's my thought. Nothing I could do to change it, and if I did, I'd have to change it probably next first or maybe even second quarter next year, because I overestimated the build on this. I estimated what it was going to cost. I added 20%, and I used up all that 20% of extra money. So, and we can fish it now. So I'll just add a little bit more as we go through over the next 6 months to complete the boat. And so, but we got it out on the third time we got it out. We were outside the bay here, and we were jigging, trying to catch some snappers in about 200 feet of water. And we looked, and it was calm. I mean, it was beautiful. My brother-in-law, he looked over, and he yelled. He said, "Oh, Malasugi, Malasugi!" I look over, and Malasugi in Tagalog is swordfish, sailfish. And we looked over, and sure enough, there's a marlin. He's up there getting the suntan. His dorsal fin, his tail was sticking out of the water, and he's just moseying around. And so we pulled our lines in, and we threw some marlin rigs in the water, and we started trolling for them. And we didn't have anything live bait. And as you guys probably know, it's just difficult. Live bait, it usually spurs a response. But we trolled for that thing for probably 45 minutes, running around, adding time to the engine. Nothing happened, so we went back to jigging. No sooner did we get our lines back in the water, 10 minutes later, again, there's another, could have been the same one, but there he was again. We spotted him about half a kilometer away, and it was just almost glass-like, no wind, no current. And so we yanked up our lines again and went out and tried to grab that marlin, hook up, and again, to no avail. And just so you know, for those of you that are thinking about fishing here and chatting about, I've got a lot of people interested in coming here and fishing. This is not an unusual thing. We see marlin here all the time. We are out there jigging. The last time was probably a month ago. We saw like 7 or 8 of them. And they're a school of marlin, and all their dorsal fins and their tail fins, and we could see them out there, and it just, but we were hooking up, and we were hooking up with the snapper, and it was just one of those things where, you know what, the likelihood, and we don't have anything live. Like I said, live is the best, and it just seems like every time we see them, we try to troll them, it just doesn't happen. So we stayed with what we knew was happening, and that was pulling the ruby snappers up out of the water on that day. We left the marlin alone. Plus, we only had light gear. Last week when we were out, or a couple weeks ago when we were out, I guess last week, we had some heavier gear, and we were more set up for marlin than any time before that. So we tried it, but nothing. So back to the engine here. That's the backstory. So we were running this engine at high idle, and trolling a little bit, 3/4 throttle. And you know, then we went back to jigging, and then we called it a day, and we started heading in, and we were probably 3-4 miles out. And we, you know, and I've got the controls, we're moving forward. I'm 3/4, you know, we checked our fuel. We wanted to go economy because we were sort of burning the fuel up. We wanted to make sure we got home without having to call for help. And so you know, we're inside the bay. There's a lot of boats around. I thought, you know what, a lot of boats, meaning that if we did run out of fuel, we can throw a rope and someone could tow us in. And so I decided to just bust the throttle wide open. So I put it up, and I kid you not, you had to take sort of a step back. I was surprised at the pushing that this engine was doing, and the bow went up a little bit, and then it came back down and started planing, you know, and we were going faster, and then I started playing with the tilt on the engine, and I got it where it was just seemed like it was optimal. And I looked at the speed on, you know, I checked on my GPS. We're moving at 31 kilometers an hour, almost 20 miles an hour. I guess over 20 miles an hour, which was double what we had the first trip out. And I was just amazed at it. And I brought my buddy out, my brother-in-law. I said, grab the steering wheel, and I went up here. We went up here. And this is the blog you'll see in a previous post, and I'm yelling, this is great, you know, till we hit a wake of another boat, and I started going like this. And so, anyways, I was happy, absolutely happy, and that was a total of maybe 4 hours of break-in. And so you know, I got back in, we got the boat cleaned up, and then I got on the phone with Jason from up in Davao, who sold me this engine. GFF, Outboard Motors, Boats, and Kayaks. Go to him to get your engine. And what happened was, I told him, I said, hey, well, this is what's going on. And he says, yeah, 5 hours, wait until you hit 50 hours when the break-in period is completely over. Those cylinders and the cylinder walls and the pistons will loosen up. You're going to get better gas mileage. You're going to go a lot faster than you are now, and you're going to be really happy with the boat. And I said, I'm happy with the engine. And I said, I'm happy with it right now, you know. And so, anyhow, so that's the engine story. So now I'm back, you know. Like I said, the previous videos, you'll see me. I'm just sort of poker-faced. I'm not excited me like I usually am. But now I'm excited, and it's only going to get better. So that happened. Then what we couldn't do is we couldn't get this thing started. We put it in neutral, and we couldn't get it started. And so we, you know, couldn't figure out what it was. And then we came in here. Let's see here. If you look right here, come on over here, this side. I'll come around right this way here. So the housing, what happened was, you'll see this device right here. When this is in neutral, it pushes this over like this. And it allows you to pull start it. Well, what we found was the spring was missing. And this piece right here, I don't know how I'm probably sure it's injection molded, and it's got a fibrous material in there. It was broken. It wasn't completely broken off, but it was like a lot of pressure, and it pulled it back, and it was cracked, but it wasn't separated. And the reason why is because of the materials they were using in there, some sort of hard plastic with fiber in it. And then the spring was missing. And so, you know, and we hadn't opened this up. We opened it up a couple times, but that, you know, but nothing, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. And then we figured out there's a spring here. The spring's missing. So we looked all over the engine. We found the spring back up in here. And so what we did was we, instead of, we just put a screw behind it to keep it from pushing back. And we put some epoxy in here. Now, the epoxy, let it dry. We put the spring in and we tested it and it's perfect, okay? And so there was that problem. And then this again, a shakedown cruise, we identify it. The steering wasn't working properly. And it turns out there's a cable here. Obviously, those of you know on the remote, it's a cable, goes all the way up into here, and you turn it, and it moves the cable back and forth, which in turn, there's a almost like a piston in here and a cylinder, and it goes in and out, and it's connected to a steering mechanism, and so it turns. So it got real tight in the turn, so we get a full turn to the left at about 20 degrees, and then we go to turn to the right, and we get maybe 10 degrees on that turn. It wasn't very tight. We could turn, but it wasn't very tight. And so so what I did is I disconnected. I didn't know if it was the cable. That you're not supposed to have a real tight loop on the cable, but inside the steering area, it's really tight, the cable. And the housing where it turns. And so I didn't think it was the cable, but I disconnected it, tested it, so the cable's working perfectly. Turns out there's a burr or something on the inside of that. And so, so what we did was take some really fine sandpaper. It started with a grinder and a really fine sanding pad on it, soft sanding pad. Went back and forth on it. I didn't put grease on it. Identified where it was at, and this is, and that should stop right there. This is a warranted engine. In the Philippines, you can buy an engine, and warranties don't mean anything. Absolutely don't mean anything. Turn it back in, and what they're going to do is they're going to send the entire thing back. It's at your expense. It's just that's the mentality here. And I could have bought this engine straight from China. I would have paid less. But the one thing I can tell you, I weighed it out. The difference in price that I could have saved buying from China and doing this myself versus what I got it from Jason at GFF out of Davao was a no-brainer. And at this point, when I bought the engine, I trusted Jason because he's an American. Not that you want to trust Americans, but he went overboard in explaining everything to me and giving his opinion. And most importantly, when he would change his opinion based off of information I would give him, meaning that the guy's open-minded and he realizes he may not know everything, and he's always improving his knowledge. Same, my mentality exactly. I don't know it all, and even if I'm good at a job, if I figure out or someone tells me an easier way to get it done better, faster, sooner, guess what? I'm going to incorporate that into my database up here, and that's Jason as well. And so so I ordered the engine. And when their problems came up with the steering, he's got certified technicians all over the Philippines that he networks with. And we had Benji, his certified tech, come out here, and it was warranted. He dealt with this problem for me, and he fixed it. And he was delicate about how he fixed it. We could warranty it, send it back, that particular couple of pieces. but I would have been without an engine, you know, however long that would have taken. And so what he did is he took a grinder with a sanding pad and delicately ground it down. Then he took some 1000 grit sandpaper and worked on it for probably a half an hour, 45 minutes. He, you know, and he would put it in, and he put grease on it, and he put it in, and he pull it out, and you could see where it would stop, and the marks on the grease on that piston. And then he would work on that area until it went in and out smoothly. He didn't do anything drastic or hard. He did it, a nice job. And then he helped me figure out what the problem was here, and we fixed it. And so I let Jason know, and I said, oh, we fixed it for now. And he says, you know what, I'll order you that part, which means this entire housing, he's gonna send me this entire housing. I just said, you know what, Jason, we've got it fixed. If it breaks, order it then, you know. But we've got something that's, you know, it's a fix, and I think it's gonna last a long time. And you know, and that was, you know, he just sort of hemmed and hawed about it. and then we put it together, and we're good to go. And then I had another conversation with him probably 3 days after that, and he just flat out said, you know what, I ordered that part for you, whether you like it or not. And that just goes to show another reason why anybody here in the Philippines should be dealing with Jason. He makes it right for you. You know, I understood the difficulty ordering that, you know, and he's gone through all the challenges of developing a relationship with the company that makes these, getting parts, understanding, you know, making them understand what American type warranty is like. And the beautiful thing about it is, that's exactly what we're getting. American type warranty service here in the Philippines. And JR, you know, I'm not anti-Filipino, but even JR, my good friend and cameraman behind the camera there, he understands that as well. And so I've got a new housing, and what I'll do is I'll put it away, and once this thing breaks, we'll add the new housing. If it breaks, add the new housing, or maybe we should just put it on anyhow. And this is the backup, because you know how things, you put it in storage and it gets moved around, kicked around, things break, you can't find it later, and you're frustrated. So maybe we'll just go ahead and swap it out. But my point is, Jason does an outstanding job, and he's got big game gear. Don't forget about that, big game gear. So that is what we've got for the engine and the steering. So that's fixed now. And so then I want to make some, the next biggie are these door locks, space locks, these white ones. And so it rained last night, so and this is what was bothering me. I was trying to figure out why. And if you look right here, water. Now this is the ice box. It doesn't really matter, but it was baffling me how, because we have the drains on here. This should drain very nice and easily right here. If you look right here, you'll see the drain holes. It should drain very nice and easily. But you look in here, there's water. You see all that water in there? And it baffled me. I'm like, what the heck, you know? Because this is supposed to, see the drain holes right here? It's supposed to drain, and it doesn't. And so I'm sitting here trying to figure out why. And so we got all the water out of there, and we may customize it in a different way, but not yet. but we got all the water out of there, and then we took a hose and sprayed it on there and checked. We did the side over here, no water. Side over here, no water. You know, the top, you know, no water. And then we did right here, and we were hosing it, and we checked, and there was water in there. You know, what the heck, you know? Cleaned it up, you know, we looked at the inside, we couldn't tell where it was building up and going in. And then my Jimmy Packlebar, my brother-in-law, he's a small guy, so I gave him my phone with the light. We cleaned all the water out. He crawled in there, we closed it, and I started, you know, doing the same thing again. And it wasn't until we got down here that he figured out that these pieces right here have holes in them. The water gets in here and it drains inside. And that is where, you know, these were $2.50 each. As you can see, these things break real easily. So my recommendation, don't buy the plastic ones. So now we got, and it was cheap. I mean, it's 4 of them for $1, or for $10. You know, I think I spent less than $25 for all of these, and they had an extra. And so now it looks like we're gonna go with the stainless steel, the good ones. And so we got to replace those. And so I'll buy a couple of them. We'll put them up here, test them, make sure they work right. It takes care of the water problem. And then once we determine that is indeed the case, we're going to replace the rest of them. And so I highly discourage anyone from going what we call piecemeal, meaning you want to save money, go with this. And I would. You can't see it. Here's another. So what happens is you drop it, and these things will break. You know, you'll wear these down very quickly. They break, and this is what you have, is like this. So, lesson learned. We're not going to do that again when we build the next boat. So, like right here, this one doesn't really matter as much because it just drains straight down. You got to have a blowing rain in it like that. So, and this is how you got to close them. You can't slam it shut. You got to open it, close, like that. So, okay, so there's that. Then I put a drain up here on the front. The other part you need to consider. So one of the things you got to look at is where your drains are going to be at. The boat is at like an angle like this, so it's going to come this way. So what we had to do is we plugged these, drilled some holes over here, and we added some thickened epoxy right here, and we got to clean it up. We're going to build this up, we're going to square it off, make it look real nice, and then sand these things out, and then we're going to paint them. Right here, so we had the same problem. We put the drill holes here, and it sits like this, but the boat angle's this way. So the water has nowhere to drain. So we had to add some more holes right here, and again we got to put some paint in there it doesn't have, it's marine plywood underneath there, but we still want to do it the proper way. We want to seal that up and make sure that we don't have water get in there. But the problem, I'm sorry, and I got a little ahead of myself here, because the problem with the water draining here is obviously it drains onto the electronics, and we obviously don't want that to happen. And so, but eventually what we're going to do is we're going to have a windshield in right here. And so so that's where else we added some more drain holes over here. We had water pooling. You know, you can never get this trailer straight, you know, the terrain. So we had water pooling, you know, and we decided instead of going in sideways right here, you'd have to have a lot of water. We decided to put some holes right here. So we drilled the holes, made sure it was clear underneath the decking, and then we added epoxy in the holes, and then we put some PVC pipe down there. And again, that's just to protect the marine plywood decking underneath the fiberglass. And so that's what we did there. And so now it drains. It rains and it drains. So what we're going to be doing here soon is we'll probably, we got to get a boat cover. So we'll run a rope up somewhere along here. We'll just have a cover, build a custom cover for this. Excuse me, so we can avoid the water in the interior. It rains a lot in this country. And then we plan on putting an awning all the way across here. So this awning we'll be able to park the boat under it, we'll park the vehicle under it, and it'll protect the boat that way. And so, but soon we are going to be going out 2 and 3 days a week, and then I can fulfill my promise to JR. And so we're gonna get out and go fishing, and we're going to go for swords. I think we've hooked up to some swords. We were in about almost 400 feet of water, and over a period of 2 days, we hooked up 3 times with a monster. We never even got it to the boat. It was just whatever it was grabbed it, and it was just going. And we were lucky to recover some of the braid we had. But we've got heavier line now. I got a bigger reel, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna explore. If we can get a couple swords in the boat, then what we're going to do is get some even heavier gear. And Paul Court, thank you for volunteering. He's got some big reels, 50s and 80 wides that we can use for the sword fishing. So I'm looking forward to that. So, and then we'll do another video coming up about the add-ons. You know, I've got to get I want to get a T-top on that goes to about this height. Okay, it'll be 4x8, anchored right in here. We'll make it to where it comes down on the sides here, and a rail right here where you can sit down and hang on. We're going to add marine radio, marine antenna. We may even possibly put a drop-down small drop-down smart TV on it that we can cover somehow or another. Then we're going to have obviously the fishing rod holders, primarily for a long stinger, and then a piece of pipe across here. And I think we're going to anchor it down here and make it to where we have some more fishing rod holders here with a short stinger, and we can make it to where we can do some trolling. And with the goal, keep in mind the goal is over the next several months we need to get some big fish, some swords, marlin. We have 2 different kinds. We have a sailfish and the blue marlin. here. I haven't seen any stripes, but they're here, and we've got them spearfishing, the sailfish, and then bycatched. I got a small swordfish, and so they're here, and we see them all the time. So we just need to we need to be able to hook up with them and do it as often as possible. So, and then once we do that, and we're inviting people on the boat, it's not a charter service. In the future, we may do charter service, but what it is, and Jason has referred some friends of his that do charters. They want to come here and enjoy the time, and number one, we're not licensed to charter, but number two, they have way more knowledge than I do. So he asked me what it would cost, and I just told him, you pay for fuel and show me some of your secrets, and we'll go out all flipping day if you want, you know. And he's like, good deal, I'm gonna bring some other foreigners with me. And so I'm happy about that. So I want to pick up their tips, their techniques, maybe some of their secrets, and we'll go out and catch some fish, hopefully, on this boat. And then all the local Filipino jiggers, anybody, let's just pay for the fuel. And so we'll share fish. We'll go out, we'll hook up, and you know, one at full wide open throttle for 1 hour is 1,700 pesos. So we have 4 jiggers on the boat. Let's say I catch one fish, you know, and the average ruby snapper is 8+ kilos, and that pays for 1 hour of gas. And if we all hook up with a couple, you know, good. As long as the gas is paid for, I'm happy. So let's get some people to come in and go fishing, and I want to improve our catch rate. You know, we normally go out, I've normally gone out on a traditional banca, and I'm hooking up left and right. Now it's a little bit different. I was out here the other day, I was standing right here jigging, and then I was doing also, my 2 brother-in-laws were jigging, and I was running the controls as well as jigging, and I inadvertently tangled the lines. Well, inadvertently. I wasn't used to how, you know, I put it in full reverse, or not full reverse, but I put it in reverse, and the lines and somehow crossed. But what happened was we had a black scabbard. Jun had a black scabbard on his, and those things just swim crazy, and he got tangled up in my line. But we got a fish out of it. We got a scabbard. But what I learned very quickly was you just put it in reverse without any throttle, and those lines will straighten up, you know, just a few seconds. You don't need to add any throttle. And then learning to turn it, you know, and communicating your turn to your fishermen. And so it's a new experience. It's going to take, like I said, I want to get out and do this on my own first, so I understand it a little bit better, and I want my guys like JR, Jun, Toto, a few other people that I want on this boat with me at any given time that I trust. I want them up to speed with it, so any one of us, we can take turns running the sticks and fishing. And so that is, like I said, I'm a virgin boat builder. I know how to jig here locally and catch some of the fish here, but marlin and swords, again, I'm a virgin and I'm learning, but I'm taught very well, and my training involves YouTube. So that's my #1 place for information. There is a huge amount of accurate information and a wide variety of information. So we're working on it. So you want to come out and come fishing and teach me a thing or two? you know, fly here. If I've got the gear for you, great. Bring your own gear. I prefer that. I can see what you got and see how it works. And so, but anyhow, that is pretty much it. So, 2 things. Go to Jason. Get your engine and your fishing gear from there. Warranties, Americans have a ton of information, and he's just a good guy to deal with. So if you're in the Philippines, you need an, and by the way, he sells Yamaha, Mercury. He's got all sorts of engines, certified mechanics, the whole 9 yards. And so you can't go wrong ordering from him. And mark my words, you buy a secondhand engine or a purported, it's only got 10 hours on it, question it. I wouldn't do it. I've had opportunities to buy engines for reasonable prices. I'm not in for the headaches. I don't want to buy something and find out it isn't what it appeared to be. So Jason from GFF out of Davao, buy it from him. I highly recommend it. So he even gave me a shirt, which I'm not wearing. But that's all I'm going to say. This is a long video. JR's got to go home. His wife is waiting for him. And so, but that's it. There's a flat tire. David here with suicidefishing.com and JR. Turn around and get JR. Yeah. And so, anyhow, suicidefishing.com, Suicide Fishing TV, YouTube. This is where our longer videos go. And we'll probably portion this out into maybe a 1-minute video for reels. We're learning how to do this. Virgin blogger here. I hate blogging, hate blogging, and hate blogging. And so, anyhow, and then to all of my Triskelion brothers and sisters, my fraternity brothers and sisters here in the Philippines, hey, stay safe as well, all right? So, then we have Suicide Fishing, Facebook, the page. Like, share, and subscribe. Recommend it. Take care. Man, I'm tired. It's been a long night. So, I'm going to just end this. You know what? I want you all to go out and give someone you love a hug, all right? They deserve it, and it will make you feel good. And then I want you to go out and have a wonderful, wonderful day, week, and month. Signing off. Take care.